Police. Well, we're joined now by Lord Prescott, who was one of those who brought that case against the Metropolitan Police. Lord Prescott, I mean, it was quite obvious at the time that there was some stalling and foot dragging. What explained it for you?
I don't know what, they just didn't want to let that information out. Now we're getting everybody apologising from all these papers now who actually are quite firm that there's nothing wrong, it's only one paper, and the scale of what we were arguing about wasn't happening. So all I can say is, why were they avoiding all the time? You know, this judicial inquiry is the second one. The police opposed the first. Now, it really defies, explanation as to why they went along this road.
Well, of course, those of a conspiratorial nature will say, well, you know, the target here was News International in terms of guilt. So the relationships with News International were incredibly close, particularly New Labour.
Well, I mean, you know me, John, I've said on these programmes before, I was never happy about the relationship with Murdoch, and people go to them. Even Dacre, I mean, I watched him in Leveson inquiry.
But it's almost
yesterday.
as if somebody said, soft pedal chaps, we have some interests here.
Well, that might well be. There are people who've gone around saying, you know, you can't afford to fight the press. I mean, that was when only one or two of us were arguing, even on your programme, saying this is just wrong. And because it's the powerful press, and some of our leaders play up to it, as clearly they have because they think it's important, that's changed. And I hope we're going to learn the lesson, and I hope Leveson's really going to bring that out.
Do you think this may have been a consequence of too much terrorism work?
Well, I hear that view. Today, the police coming out said they were too busy doing terrorism. Of course, they had a terrible job to do on terrorism, no doubt about it. But you know, Mr. Hyman, who was the actual man who was the police at the time, was working with me on terrorism matter during the summer. He apparently knew, he's now apologised. Couldn't he have just said, hey, your messages are being tapped into? They just wanted to hide it and then tried constantly to do it. And I think this business about terrorism is something to show, oh, they were tired and they weren't up to it. Nonsense. They should have got on with the damn job.
And is this the end of it? Can you look forward to a Sunday retirement?
No, I mean, if you look at the Leveson inquiry now, I hope they balance this business about the police and the press and that relationship. But, you know, if the trust is to come back into the police and the press, then we've got to have a very keen eye kept on them and perhaps some reform of how they operate.
John Prescott, thank you very much indeed for coming in.